with the materials. So this panel is really about exploring that, right? So where to go, who to know, and what makers need to scale their craft. So I'm going to start out with a question for Alisa. Alisa, why do I keep doing that? I am so sorry. So we have, what is the dream ecosystem for local makers in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I think a dream ecosystem for local makers is one in which all of the materials, resources, people, spaces, all of that is readily accessible and very, very, very obvious, and there are no barriers to getting access. There's plenty of funding, there's no struggle, and makers are able to do what they love doing, which is making, while also making a livelihood of that. And they have very obvious paths and very obvious ways of getting towards whatever their goals are when it comes to turning a maker-based business into something that's really thriving and scaling.
Excellent. Yes, right? So Shailah, what are some ways everyday consumers can support small batch production?
From the consumer perspective, whether you're not a designer or a brand, I think the best way to go about it is, one, not being reactive when you're buying your clothing or anything online. I think that's a good place to start. We always say, we make clothes at SO Valley, so but we do it mindfully. So also asking, if you can, who made this product? Is that information readily available? That's always extremely helpful. But for the most part, I would say support your local designers and makers. There's a lot of you here. SO Valley staff member Ayana is here. She's a circular designer. She also leads our zero waste program, which we just introduced. I forgot to plug that earlier. We shred down all of our factory scraps, and she's spearheading that research and development. So there's a lot of cool stuff. So support her, support all of these designers here. And just make sure, if you can, support businesses that pay living wages to the people who make the products that you're wearing. It's very hard to do, but it is very possible.
Yeah. April, you said something really interesting about when you design, it feels therapeutic. Almost, would it be fair to say almost healing? So what is that intersection between design and healing? What does that mean?
So we hear about it a lot when we talk about art, and art is healing. We all know that when we create something, it gives you a sense of purpose and a sense of control, something that you may not be experiencing in your life. Like say if you're a student, you got all these classes and all these projects that need to be done. Even if you're running a business, oh my gosh, I got to be here, I have to be there. Maybe I should be getting funding from this place. Maybe I should be, how am I going to stay in business? But once you start creating something, your brain starts to create new pathways. Even with me, when I started my business and COVID came and all that good stuff, because we know we never suffered during COVID business-wise. They didn't even So one of the things I wanted to do was reinvent myself in a different kind of way so I could serve more people. And I ended up going back to UC and getting a degree in psychology. Even though I was working in that, doing that part with my art, I wanted to see what it actually was affecting in someone on a very fundamental level. And you would see some of the things that would happen. People would come back with childhood things that they used to do. With my wood burning, if I was set up somewhere, because I am a very staunch conservationist, I love to save a tree. I think I've saved probably thousands of trees in my mind. Because I take all castaway wood objects and I burn designs into them so they can come back with a new life. So how many times have you all, has anyone ever felt like they created something within themselves and started over again and created a better form of yourself, or started thinking differently through a creative process? Has anyone ever done that before? That's just about everybody. And it could be anything. So I really think there is a very profound impact, with even if it's the slightest thing. Some of us don't think that we're artists. Well, we don't really understand it. Sometimes it just takes even if you're doing dot to dot. My grandmother did the the connect the dot, the number where you connect the dots and you paint a picture. Mm-hmm. She did that. That was her thing. But then she flipped houses too with her little 5'4" Choctaw self. She would just flip houses too. That was another outlet for her. Things that people wouldn't expect from you. And then when you show it, you have another sense of pride. And it may not be your corporate job that gives you that much satisfaction in your life. But when you go home and you start knitting, now you feel like you're the top of the world. You know, and I know people that are like that. So that's the one thing. And even with working with the veterans and things like that, the changes that I would see from the stern looks and the closed off. I used to be like that as well. I wouldn't tell anybody anything. I'm an introvert. People don't believe it. I like to stay home and I like to stay in my slippers and I just want to be in front of my sewing machine or with my burning tools or with my pancake air compressor and stapling furniture together. But when you see just how relaxed you become, when you see how easy it is to start communicating with people again if you're not used to it, by just opening yourself up to a different part of yourself. So I just think that that really kind of connects people in a way that just the basic psychology of it, making sure that you take care of yourself first, and that sometimes that means slowing down and just creating something.
That's beautiful. This might feel like a curveball, but the next question is more about how do we see technology then, and this new AI world driving our makers? Sure, I'll open it up to any of you.
Well, I think that I have a lot of opinions. I was at another conference last week where this guy was like, we're making this AI platform that basically is the mind of the apparel manufacturer, but also the client. So neither of you have to do any coordination with one another to develop your product. And I'm like, that sounds like a great idea in theory, but that is actually impossible to do. So I do not understand how AI can take the place of human beings 100%, because textiles require the manipulation of your hands to be able to sew it in the way that you want, as everyone in this room knows. I think the only thing that is 100% made in 100% automated is like a doormat or a floor mat, kind of like a rug that just has like the edging that goes around, because you can make a machine that does that. There's a lot of automation technology happening, but I don't believe that we're going to be able to replace human beings in this industry 100%. I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either, so. Anybody else?
Well, since we're not going to be able to get rid of AI, you definitely have to find a way to embrace it. My brother is a big data coder. I don't know if anyone knows about that type of stuff. How many people know about big data and all that good stuff that comes with it? Yeah. So computer engineers, so part of my brain is science and natural. So even when my chemotherapy patients, when they needed something to help them along the way as far as skincare and stuff like that, natural things came into play. I want to be able to combine anything that's technical that could even ultimately hurt our waterways and things like that, because we know that it uses way more energy than just a regular Google search. AI consumes so much energy, I'm sure you all are feeling the impact just even with your electric bills right now. That cost is going to transfer over to us. But it affects our water too, which is going to affect our plants and any natural fibers that we are trying to conserve. Our trees and everything are going to suffer from that. But how can we make it work for us? I think doing these things are going to at least keep part of the population mindful of what we need. As far as jobs are concerned, we have seen that even during the industrial age tick down. No matter what, it's always something that comes around and needs less and less people and less brains. So unfortunately, this is something we have to work with. But it doesn't stop us from being creators. They're going to need people to create things even for these fake brains that are out there. So they're going to need people that's going to be creative to be able to, and computer programmers and everything, coders and stuff like that, they're creative. The only thing is that even AI is going to start coding. It has already started coding as well. But they're still looking for humans to be able to fit into that. And I still think that, how many people watch The Walking Dead?
Right, that part. That part.
Any apocalyptic show, how many of them have ever tried to find clothing or anything? They're always on the search for food and weapons, right? But they're never looking for clothes and they're never looking for furniture. It's just abundant. Have anybody ever noticed that? Now see, this is the type of thing that I look at when I watch TV or something, or I get a chance to see it. I'm like, yeah, they're never looking for clothing. You never see them growing crops that produce clothing. You never see them doing that. So, but they're still going to need people to be thinkers and creators, because someone has to be. But as far as with making things, somebody still has to be that person to be in the room to guide the technology. And I still think we have an opportunity to help our creators, help them keep our fibers going, keep that, so I can keep reupholstering furniture and keep teaching people about it as well. So I don't want to worry about it. I want to embrace it, and I want to be able to how can I make this work?
That's excellent. It does make me think, if I was on that TV show, that I'd be looking for the hemp-made sweater. Little nibble of that would keep me going for a while, apparently.
Yeah,
Did you guys also answer?
Yes. So the way I look at, and I agree with everything you guys have said, I think also that we could look at AI as a way of democratizing knowledge for makers and people who focus on fibers and textiles. So to me, it's a way of getting knowledge that you would not normally have, especially when it comes to starting a business and you're someone who's more technical and you have no idea where to start. I think AI gives you a good starting point. So to me, it's maybe a coach, a mentor, just to help you get started with understanding a space and how to go about getting things done from a business perspective. So yeah, I love what you said about thinking about how it can work and flipping it to the positive. So I do think that even though there are lots of negative aspects, that there can be a positive as far as more people being able to create physical products and bring them to life through businesses.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, round of applause. Where are we with timing? One more question, or where should we go? We good? One more? We got time. Okay. Wasn't sure. And I love that, like, using AI for, like, that thought starter. I've actually started using it as, like, here's my concept or idea, like, poke holes in it. You know, like, challenge me on it, ask me all the tough questions so I can prepare. She doesn't know for tonight. How would you challenge me? All right, so I'm going to open it. It's one more question, and it's to the group again. So what partnerships between nonprofits, universities, or manufacturers are most critical for building a stronger local supply chain? Who wants to go first?
I think they're all important, and I think you can't really, to me, we can't really take any of the different partners for granted. The universities are doing the training. They have a lot of times the new technologies that are coming into play. They have the patents, if we can ever get access to those patents that people who want to start businesses need access to. So yeah, I feel like we can't take for granted any part of the ecosystem. We have to bring everyone into the fold so that we can all move together and make progress more effectively and faster. And to leave out any part of the ecosystem means that you are leaving out a thought partner, someone who may have resources, connections, and all of those things that may not be very obvious. So to me, it's very important to be very, very inclusive, to pull everyone into the fold, and then to understand who brings what to the table and how those things can be leveraged for the greater good.
You go. Big fan of partnerships. So Valley would absolutely not exist without the vast majority of partners that we've cultivated over the years, whether it's a client partner, or we are a part of the Rust Belt Fiber Shed's value chain directory as a manufacturer. We have a budding partnership growing with Goodwill and University of Cincinnati in the Sustainable Fashion Initiative. You'll see the flyers on your table for this new Circle initiative promoting circularity in the apparel industry. This industry is it's a huge industry, but in every city, it can be so small too. So we really have to lift each other up, and I do firmly believe that a rising tide raises all ships. And in an industry that, at least in the US, we're such a consumer-focused culture that no one thinks about where our clothing is coming from or values our clothing at all. So we have to lift each other up, otherwise we're nowhere. So yeah, huge important.
I think one of the things, try to focus on, if you can, reach out to the children. I think that they're going to be, by the time they get grown, when I say children, elementary school, high school students, reach out to see how you can partnership with schools. I partnership with schools the whole time my son was in school, and that was a long time. So, and it's a lot. And I taught after-school fashion programs and robotics. So bringing the technology, the robotics team was in the fashion shows and all that kind of stuff too. So one of the things is partnership with some of the schools. If you have time, if you have something to teach, see if you can start an after-school program or just even visit to tell them what you all do. And inspire them to even be environmentalists or conservationists and think forward as far as being the next shepherds of where our fabrics are coming from and how we consume as well. Even reach out, I partnership with VA in some things, I partnership with schools. And one of my biggest partnerships that helped me stay in business was the Hub. That was probably one of my biggest partnerships, and I really love the fact that anybody can come in there, from children to adults, parents, anybody can come in there and find the things that they need. So I think find the partnership that fits for you, and it doesn't have to be big, but every little thing that you do to teach one, I hate to say this, but people say it, teach one, reach one, teach one, whatever you do is going to move it forward too. So everybody else will, y'all are in the business probably in the next 50 years, y'all will be, walking with kids and still in the business. We'll have all those little children that were little that have come up. So how many of you all work with schools right now on some level? That's awesome. How many elementary school, high schools? How many want to but don't know how to? I know kids are hard. I know. But if you can find a way to do that, or and share what you know with them on just even visiting, trust me, that one word, I've had kids come back and say, you helped me sew something one day at some event. And now they create and they sew things now. So they repair their clothes and all that kind of stuff. So I think that those, I'm talking about very small partnerships, I know, but those on that level will be the next CEOs that are sitting on top of these boards and everything too, that will probably help the planet continue to go. So,
Wow, I think that was like the perfect ending to this panel about the future, right? We're all here to make things better. And let's give it up for Pam.